Chosen one, ignoring this date will cost you everything, and I am talking about April 12th through 14. Stop. Do not scroll. Do not click away. Not yet. Because you finding this video right now at this exact moment, on this exact day, is not an accident. You were not randomly browsing. You were not just killing time. Something pulled you here. Something inside you saw that title and felt a flicker, a recognition, a whisper that said, "This one is different. This one is for me." And you were right. You almost missed this. You almost kept scrolling like you have done so many times before. Past the signs, past the warnings, past the messages that were hand-delivered to your screen and meant only for your eyes. But not this time. This time, something made you pause. Something made you click. And that something was not random. It was precise. It was timed. And it was meant to happen exactly like this. Most chosen ones will never hear this. Not because it is hidden, but because they scroll past it too soon. They let the algorithm win. They let distraction steal what was placed directly in their path. But you did not. You are still here, and that tells me everything I need to know about you. You have been feeling it lately, have you not? That strange weight, that quiet unease, that sense that something is coming but you cannot name it. You have been waking up at odd hours. Your thoughts have been heavier than usual. Your patience thinner. Your emotions closer to the surface. And you have been asking yourself, what is wrong with me? Why do I feel like this? Why does everything feel like it is building towards something I cannot see? I am here to tell you that nothing is wrong with you. What you have been feeling is not a malfunction. It is a signal, a preparation. Your entire system has been recalibrating. Because these 3 days, April 12th, 13, and 14, carry something significant. Something that was placed on the calendar long before you were born. And you, chosen one, are one of the few who will be awake enough to receive it. But before I tell you what these dates hold, stay with me, because what comes next will completely change how you see what you have been going through. This video is not entertainment. It is not motivation. It is not background noise for your evening scroll. This is a message, a direct transmission, and it was placed in your path for a reason you will understand by the time we reach the end. Everything you have been carrying, every tear you have cried in silence, every night you have laid awake wondering if your life will ever shift, it all connects to what is about to unfold in these 3 days. If you leave now, you will miss it. Not because I am trying to keep you here, but because what I am about to share is not available everywhere. It is not trending. It is not viral. It is quiet, specific, and meant only for those who are ready. And you clicking on this video is proof that you are ready. Your soul did not make a mistake. Your instincts did not fail you. You are exactly where you need to be. By the time this video ends, you will know exactly what April 12th is asking you to release. You will understand what April 13th will bring to your doorstep. If you remain open, you will be prepared for the declaration April 14th is calling you to make. And more than that, you will finally understand why your life has felt the way it has. Why certain people left. Why certain doors closed. Why certain seasons dragged on longer than they should have. It will all make sense. Every single piece. But only if you stay. Only if you let this message do what it was designed to do. Only if you silence the part of you that wants to doubt, to minimize, to scroll to the next thing. That part of you has stolen enough. It has cost you enough. Not today. Today, you stay. Today, you receive. You are not here by accident. Chosen one. You are here by alignment, by timing, by something deeper than you can explain, but something you have always felt. That feeling of being different, that sense that you were meant for more, that quiet knowing that refused to die no matter how many times life tried to crush it. That is what brought you here, and that is what will carry you through what I'm about to share. So settle in, take a breath, and know that for the next hour, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Type 1M here in the comments if you feel like this video was made specifically for you, not for the masses, not for the algorithm, for you. And now, let us begin. Something has been off with you lately, and you know exactly what I am talking about. You have not been able to explain it to anyone. You have tried. You have opened your mouth to describe it, and the words fell flat. Because how do you explain a heaviness that has no source? How do you describe exhaustion that sleep does not fix? How do you tell someone that you feel sad, but you do not know why? That you feel anxious, but nothing specific is wrong? That you feel disconnected from your own life? Like you were watching yourself from the outside. You thought you were losing yourself. You thought something inside you was breaking. You have probably even searched your symptoms late at night, scrolling through explanations, looking for a reason, looking for proof that you are not going crazy. But nothing fit, nothing explained this particular kind of tired, this particular kind of heavy. Do not move past this part, because this is where most chosen ones miss what was meant for them. What you have been feeling is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that something is shifting within you. And shifts do not feel like progress. They feel like disruption. They feel like something is ending, and nothing has started yet. That uncomfortable in between. That is exactly where you are. And it is exactly where you need to be. Here is something most people will never understand. The ones who are about to receive the most are always the ones who feel the worst right before it arrives. That heaviness you have been carrying is not punishment. It is preparation. Your system is clearing out what no longer belongs, so there is room for what is coming. But the clearing feels like loss. The recalibration feels like chaos. The becoming feels like breaking. And nobody warned you it would feel like this. You have been more sensitive lately. Sounds are louder. Words hit harder. Small things irritate you in ways they never used to. You have questioned your relationships, your purpose, your entire direction. You have felt like crying for no reason. You have felt rage come out of nowhere. You have felt empty in a room full of people who love you. And the worst part is you felt guilty for feeling any of it. Because on paper you should be fine. But you are not fine. And pretending is exhausting. Here is the truth no one says out loud. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it is a signal. You feel things deeply because you were designed to notice things others miss. You carry weight because you are strong enough to hold it. You have been stretched because you are about to be expanded. And what you have been interpreting as weakness is actually awareness. The very thing that makes you feel like too much is the same thing that makes you ready for this moment. Type 1111 in the comments if you have been feeling exactly this way. If the heaviness has been unexplainable, if the fatigue has not made sense, if something inside you has felt like it is waiting for permission to change, the S is your confirmation. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are right on schedule. And what I am about to share next, almost no one talks about this, but it will change everything about how you see what you have been carrying. Now let me tell you why these specific dates matter. Why April 12th, 13, and 14 are not just ordinary days on your calendar, and why what you have been feeling lately is directly connected to what is about to unfold. Most people will pass through these 3 days and feel nothing. They will wake up, scroll through their phones, complain about the same things, go to sleep, and repeat. They will walk right past the opening and never even know it was there. That is how it works for most. The signs are always present. The doors are always available. But only a small number are tuned in enough to notice. Only a small number are sensitive enough to feel the shift before it announces itself. And you, chosen one, are one of that small number. You have always known ordinary life was not meant for you. That is not arrogance. That is awareness. You have felt it since you were young. Something inside you could never settle for the normal path, the regular routine, the safe, predictable existence everyone else seemed satisfied with. It frustrated you. It made you feel out of place, like you were living in a world that was not quite built for people like you. And you were right. It was not. Stay with me here, because what I am about to explain changes everything about how you approach these 3 days. April 12th is the opening. It is the day when the weight begins to lift, if you allow it. Old energy, old attachments, old versions of yourself that you have been dragging behind you will finally be ready to release. But here is the part no one tells you. The release will not feel like relief. It will feel like grief. It will feel like loss. Because even the things that hurt us become familiar. And letting go of familiar pain sometimes feels more frightening than staying stuck. April 12th will ask you to release anyway, even when it hurts. April 13 is the test. This is the day when your faith will be challenged. Something may happen that makes you want to doubt. A delay, a rejection, a silence where you expected an answer. Most people quit on this day. They see the resistance and assume it means they were wrong. But the resistance is not a stop sign. It is a checkpoint. It is asking you, do you still believe even when you cannot see proof? April 13th is where the chosen ones are separated from the curious ones. Anyone can believe when things are easy. The question is whether you can hold on when things go quiet. And then comes April 14th, the shift. This is the day where everything you released on the 12th, everything you protected on the 13th, begins to take form. April 14th is when seeds break through soil, when invisible things become visible, when whispers become words. But only for those who showed up on the previous 2 days. Only for those who did not quit when it felt hard. Type 1. Am ready in the comments. If you are prepared to receive what these 3 days are bringing. If you are not going to scroll away this time. If you are done watching your life from the sidelines while everyone else seems to move forward. You are being given access to something rare. Something most people will never even know existed. And it is not because they are less deserving. It is because they are less awake. But now comes the part that might be hardest to hear. Before you can step into April 12th, there is something we must address first. Something from your past that is still holding you back. And what I am about to share next will finally set you free from the guilt you have been carrying for far too long. Before you can fully receive what April 12th through 14 is bringing, there is a weight you need to put down. A weight you have been carrying for years, and it is heavier than you realize. You think about the time you lost, the years that slipped through your fingers, the chances you did not take, the doors you hesitated at until they closed. You look at where you are now, and you calculate where you should have been. You measure your progress against people who started after you but passed you long ago. And somewhere deep inside, you carry a quiet shame. A whisper that says you wasted it. You blew it. You should be further along by now. That thought has haunted you more than you admit. You do not talk about it because it sounds ungrateful. It sounds like complaining. But the truth is, the regret eats at you. Late at night, it finds you. In quiet moments, it creeps in. You replay old decisions. You revisit old failures. You torture yourself with versions of your life that never happened and compare them to the one you are living now. And every time you come up short, do not skip past this part, because this is where your healing begins. Here is what I need you to understand. Chosen one, nothing was wasted. Not a single day, not a single tear, not a single failure. What felt like lost time was actually preparation time. What looked like delays were actually detours that kept you safe from things you could not see coming. You were not forgotten. You were not overlooked. You were being positioned for something that required a version of you that did not exist yet. And the only way to build that version was through everything you went through. Here is something no one tells you about success. Some people receive things before they are ready, and it destroys them. Opportunities that come too soon crush people who are not strong enough to hold them. Relationships that arrive early fall apart because the person was not healed enough to maintain them. Money that shows up too fast disappears because the mindset was not prepared to manage it. You have seen it happen. You have watched people rise fast and fall faster. You have seen others get everything they wanted and lose themselves in the process. That was never going to be your story. And the only reason it was not is because you were held back until you were ready. Here is the truth no one says out loud. You were never behind. You were being protected. The doors that closed were not rejections. They were redirections. The relationships that ended were not failures. They were filters. The seasons that dragged on longer than they should have were not punishments. They were classrooms, and you graduated from every single one of them. Type Amen in the comments if you are ready to release the guilt of your past. If you are done beating yourself up for things that were never your fault. If you are ready to stop calling your preparation a waste. Your time was not stolen. It was invested, and the return is closer than you think. It is closer than you feel. It is right around the corner. And April 12th through 14 is when the first dividends begin to show. But before we go further, there is something else we need to talk about. Something that might hurt More than a wasted years. Something that involves the people who left. And what I am about to share will finally help you understand why they had to go. The years were not the only thing you lost. There were people, too. And that wound cuts deeper than any amount of wasted time. You still think about them, the ones who walked away. The ones who chose to leave right when you needed them most. The friends who disappeared when your life got hard. The family members who turned cold without explanation. The lover who promised forever and then vanished like you meant nothing. You replay those exits in your mind. You search for the moment it went wrong. You wonder what you did, what you said. What part of you was so unbearable that they chose absence over your presence? And the hardest part is not that they left. The hardest part is that you still care. You still check their pages sometimes. You still wonder how they are doing. You still catch yourself thinking about what you would say if they came back. You feel foolish for it. You tell yourself to move on. But the ache remains. And no amount of logic makes it disappear. Stay with me here, because this next part is going to reframe everything you thought you understood about those exits. They did not leave because you were too much. They did not leave because you were not enough. They left because they were not equipped to go where you are going. You are not walking an ordinary path. Chosen one. You never have been. And not everyone can handle what it takes to walk beside someone like you. Some people are only built for certain chapters of your story. They arrive, they play their role, and then they exit. Not because they are bad people, but because their assignment was complete. Here is something most people will never understand about loss. The people who leave often do more for your growth by going than they ever could have done by staying. Their absence forced you to find parts of yourself you never would have discovered with them still beside you. Their exit made you stronger, more self-reliant, more clear about what you will and will not accept. You did not just survive their leaving. You evolved because of it. Here is the truth no one says out loud. Some people cannot see your fire without feeling threatened by it. Some people cannot witness your growth without feeling left behind. And rather than rise with you, they remove themselves from your life because why? Our evolution made them uncomfortable. That is not your fault. That is not your burden. That is simply what happens when someone is not meant for your next season. The emptiness they left behind was not a wound. It was a clearing. Space had to be made for what is coming next. Space for people who will not flinch when they see the full version of you. Space for relationships that do not require you to shrink. Space for connections that feel like home instead of like a performance. Type 777 in the comments if someone's absence still hurts but you are ready to understand why they had to go. If you are ready to release the questions that have been circling your mind for months or even years, you did not lose them. Chosen one. You graduated from them, and what is coming will make you grateful they are no longer taking up space in your life. But there is another layer to this pain we have not yet addressed. A loneliness that goes beyond missing specific people. A feeling of being alone even when you are surrounded. And what I am about to share next explains exactly why you have felt invisible for so long. Even in crowded rooms. The people who left created one kind of loneliness. But there is another kind that runs even deeper. A kind that no one talks about because it is almost impossible to explain. You can be in a room full of people and still feel completely alone. You can be at a gathering, surrounded by laughter and conversation, and feel like you are watching from behind glass. You smile when you are supposed to smile. You nod when you are supposed to nod. But inside, there is a distance, a gap between you and everyone else that never seems to close. You have felt this for as long as you can remember. And the loneliest part is that no one seems to notice. They think you are fine. They think you are present. But you know the truth. You have been performing Connection Way. Heil starving for it. Do not scroll past this moment, because what I am about to tell you will change how you see every lonely season you have ever walked through. Your loneliness is not rejection. It is selection. You were separated because you could not afford to be influenced by everyone. You were isolated because your purpose required protection. Not everyone was meant to speak into your life. Not every voice was safe for your ears. And if you had been surrounded by the wrong people during your formation, you would not be who you are today. Their opinions would have diluted you. Their doubts would have infected you. Their limitations would have become your own. The isolation was never punishment, it was a fortress. Here is something most people do not realize about those who carry a calling. They are always set apart before they are lifted up. Every leader you admire walked through seasons of intense aloneness before they stepped into their influence. It is not a coincidence. It is a pattern. Solitude is where identity is solidified. It is where clarity is sharpened. It is where strength is built without distraction. You were not abandoned in your alone seasons. You were being constructed. Here is the truth no one says out loud. The crowds would have destroyed you. The attention would have come too soon. The applause would have made you dependent on validation you were never meant to need. And so you were hidden, tucked away, held in silence until you became unshakable, until the opinions of others could no longer move you, until you no longer needed a crowd to feel confident in who you are. You have spent years wondering why you never fit in. Why conversations felt shallow, why friendships felt forced, why you always seemed to be on the outside of circles everyone else entered easily. But you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. And standing out requires standing alone first. Type chosen in the comments if you have felt deeply alone, even in crowded rooms. If you have carried a loneliness you could not explain, if you are ready to finally understand that your isolation was not abandonment, it was assignment. Your alone season is coming to an end. April is bringing connection. Real connection. The kind that does not require you to perform. The kind that sees you and stays anyway. Your people are closer than you think. And they have been looking for you too. But before the connection arrives, there is something you need to do. Something that will require your full participation. And in the next part, I am going to walk you through exactly what you need to do on April 12th, April 13th, and April 14th. This is where your action begins. And if you follow what I share, nothing in your life will ever be the same again. Now, I am going to give you something you have never had before. A map, a clear set of actions for each of these 3 days. Because knowing a shift is coming is not enough. You have to participate in it. You have received signs before. You have felt promptings. You have sensed that something was trying to reach you. But you hesitated. You waited too long. You second-guessed yourself until the moment passed. And then you watched the opportunity slip away. You told yourself you would act next time. But next time came and the same thing happened. hesitation, delay, regret. This cycle has repeated more times than you want to admit. And deep down, you carry the weight of every missed moment. This time will be different, because this time, you are not going in blind. You are not waiting for a feeling. You have instructions. You have clarity. And if you follow through, everything begins to shift. Listen carefully to what I am about to share, because this is your assignment for the next 3 days. April 12 is T, He, Day of Release. On this day, you must let go of one thing that has been weighing on you. It could be a grudge you have been holding, a fear that has kept you small, a memory that still controls your emotions, a version of yourself you keep returning to even though it no longer serves you. Write it down on a piece of paper. Every detail, every feeling. Hold nothing back. And then destroy it. Burn it. Tear it into pieces. Throw it away. As you do, speak out loud what you are releasing. Say the words. Let your voice carry the intention. The act of speaking is not symbolic. It is activating. What you release on April 12th will no longer follow you into your next chapter. April 13th is the day of receiving. On this day, your only job is to stay open. Pay attention to everything. The unexpected message, the random thought that will not leave your mind, the stranger who says something that hits differently, the song that plays at the exact right moment. Something important will try to reach you on this day, but it will not arrive with a loud announcement. It will come quietly, suddenly, and if you are distracted, you will miss it. So stay alert. Put your phone down more than usual. Sit in silence for at least 10 minutes. Create space for the message to land. Here is the truth no one says out loud. Most breakthroughs are missed, not because they never came, but because the person was too busy to notice them. April 14th is the day of declaration. On this day, you speak your new chapter into existence, out loud, with conviction. Stand in front of a mirror if you must. Go somewhere private. But open your mouth and declare who you are becoming. Declare what you are calling in. Declare that you are no longer available for the old patterns, the old pains, the old limitations. What you say on April 14th will echo. Words carry weight on this day. Do not waste them on complaints or doubts. Yipe I will in the comments as a promise to yourself. A promise that this time you will not hesitate. This time you will follow through. This time you will meet the moment instead of watching it pass. You are not powerless, chosen one. You are a participant in your own becoming. And these 3 days are your invitation to step fully into the life that has been waiting for you. But there is one thing that could block everything. One lie that has been sitting in your mind for years. And unless you remove it before April 12th, nothing I have shared will be able to take root. What I am about to reveal next is the silent saboteur that has been keeping you stuck far longer than you realize. You now have the map. You know what to do on April 12, 13, and 14. But none of it will work if you carry this one thing with you into those days. There is something blocking you, and it is not your past. It is not your circumstances. It is not even the people who hurt you. It is a lie. A single sentence that has been playing on repeat inside your mind for so long that you forgot it was not the truth. You know the sentence I am talking about. You have heard it so many times, it feels like your own voice now. I am not good enough. I always ruin things. Good things do not happen to people like me. I do not deserve it. I am too much. I am not enough. The words may vary, but the message is the same. There is something fundamentally wrong with you, and no matter what you do, you cannot escape it. Do not skip past this part, because this lie is the very thing that has been sabotaging you for years. That sentence did not come from you. It was planted. Someone spoke it over you. Someone treated you in a way that made you believe it. A parent who made you feel invisible. A teacher who made you feel stupid. A friend who betrayed you. A lover who abandoned you. They did not just hurt you. They installed a belief. And that belief became a filter through which you have seen yourself ever since. Every failure confirmed it. Every rejection reinforced it. And slowly, the lie became your identity. Here is something most people never realize. You do not struggle because the lie is true. You struggle because you treat it as true. You make decisions based on it. You hold yourself back because of it. You settle for less because somewhere deep down, you do not believe you are allowed to have more. The lie did not just wound you. It rewired you. It became the operating system running in the background of every choice you make. Here is the truth no one says out loud. You were never broken. You were programmed by broken people. And programs can be deleted. That sentence you have been repeating was never yours to carry. It was handed to you by someone who was too wounded to see your worth. It was echoed by circumstances that had nothing to do with your value. And every time you repeated it, you gave it more power. But today, right now, in this moment, you are taking that power back. You are not what happened to you. You are not the failure. You are not the mistake. You are not the rejection. You are what remains after all of it. And what remains is something unbreakable, something real, something that no lie can touch once you stop feeding it. Type release in the comments if you are ready to let this lie go forever. If you are done building your life on a foundation that was never true. If you are ready to hear a new sentence when you look in the mirror, this is your permission to stop believing the voices that hurt you. This is your moment to erase the script and write a new one. And once that lie is gone, you will be ready to receive what is already on its way. But here is the part that will surprise you most. Even while you were believing the lie, something was already shifting in your favor. Doors were opening. People were being positioned. And what I am about to show you next is proof that your breakthrough did not start today. It started long before you even noticed. You released the lie. You are no longer carrying what was never yours. But now, I need to tell you something that might be hard to believe at first. While you were struggling, while you were doubting, while you were wondering if anything would ever change, something was already shifting in your favor. You just could not see it. It feels like nothing is happening. I know. You wake up and the same problems are still there. The same bills, the same loneliness, the same questions without answers. You scroll through your phone and watch everyone else announce their wins while your life looks exactly the same as it did 6 months ago, a year ago, maybe longer. And there is a quiet voice inside you that whispers, maybe this is it. Maybe this is all there is. Maybe change is for other people, not for you. Stay with me for this next part, because what I am about to share will shift the way you see everything you have been walking through. You have been measuring your progress by what you can see. But the most important changes always happen where the eye cannot reach. Roots grow in darkness. Foundations are laid underground. The seed does not look like anything is happening until suddenly the ground cracks open and life appears. That is where you are right now, in the invisible phase. The part where everything is forming but nothing is surfaced yet. And because you cannot see it, you assume it is not real. But it is more real than anything you have experienced before. Here is something most people do not know about breakthroughs. They do not happen suddenly. They only appear suddenly. Behind every overnight success is a long season of invisible whir. Behind every open door is a series of closed ones that redirected the path. You have been planting seeds for years. In your prayers, in your tears, in your quiet moments of hope when no one was watching. And those seeds did not disappear. They took root. They spread beneath the surface. And April is when they finally break through the soil. Here is the truth no one says out loud. Conversations are already happening about you, in rooms you have never entered. Doors are being unlocked right now that you do not even know exist. Someone is being positioned to meet you. An opportunity is being prepared with your name attached to it. The delay was never denial. It was timing, and the timing is almost here. You have been closer than you realized this whole time. Every hard day you survived brought you nearer. Every night you cried yourself to sleep and still woke up the next morning to try again, moved you forward. You did not see the progress because it was not meant to be seen yet, but it was always there, building, growing, preparing to surface. Type 1111 in the comments if you trust that what is coming is bigger than what you have lost. If you believe that the invisible is about to become visible. If you are ready to see the fruit of everything you have been carrying in silence. One more push. One more day of faith. One more moment of holding on. April is when everything you have been waiting for begins to show itself. And now, chosen one, we arrive at the final message. The one I have been building toward this entire time. What I am about to speak over you is not just words. It is a charge, a commission, a send-off into the most important 3 days of your life. Do not miss what comes next. You made it. You stayed until the end. And that alone tells me everything I need to know about who you are. When you clicked on this video, you were carrying something heavy. The woe. 8 of wasted years. The sting of people who left. The ache of loneliness that no one seemed to understand. The lie that whispered you were not enough. The fear that maybe nothing would ever change. You carried all of it. And you still pressed play. You still stayed. You still listened. That is not weakness. That is the mark of someone who refuses to give up on themselves. Look at what you have walked through in the last hour. You released the guilt of your past. You understood why certain people had to leave. You saw your loneliness for what it really was. Preparation, not punishment. You received a map for April 12th, 13, and 14. You identified the lie that has been running your life. And you finally let it go. And you discovered that even when you thought nothing was happening, Everything was already shifting in your favor. You did not just watch a video, you participated in your own becoming. Before you go, stay with this. One last message, carefully. This may be the most important thing spoken in this entire video. Everything you just heard, you already knew it. Deep inside, you just needed a voice to remind you that it was always true. You were never broken. You were never behind. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared for something so significant that it required years of building before you were ready to hold it. And now you are ready. April 12 through 14 is not just a set of dates. It is your permission slip, your green light, your invitation to stop waiting and start becoming. You have spent too long watching from the sidelines, questioning yourself, shrinking so others could feel comfortable. That version of you served its purpose, but it is time to let it go. You were not built to blend in. You were not designed to be forgotten. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are exactly what this world has been waiting for. And now it is time to rise. Type Amen and hit the like button if you are ready to step into everything that has been waiting for you. And if this message reached you the way it was meant to, share this video with another chosen one who needs to hear it today. You know exactly who they are. They have been fighting silently, just like you. Send this to them. Let them know they are not alone. If you want more messages like this, subscribe and stay close. Something tells me this is not the last time you and I will meet here. Type 1212 in the comments to claim the miracles already on their way to you. Now go, chosen one. April is waiting, and so is everything you have been praying for.